If you're a mount collector, the next 2 weeks are cram-packed with things for you to do with a bunch of time-sensitive deadlines on the horizon. I'm Silo with Zygor, and in this video I'll be running through the things that you'll want to prioritize as quickly as possible and the things that you've got a bit more time to work towards over the next 2 weeks. The first thing up to talk about is going to be the trading post, which has an extremely tight deadline now. If you've not worked on the trading post at all, then you only have about 3 days left to finish it. There's going to be 2 mounts you're able to purchase from the trading post itself, and those will be the Blackwater Extreme Firework Rocket, which is a new item on the trading post, and the returning Wheeling Banshee's Charger. Don't forget, if you don't have enough tenders to buy an item now, you can freeze one for next time, so make use of that if you need to. Additionally, there will be an extra mount from the Traveler's Log, and that will be the Bilgewater Extreme Firework Rocket as well. Both pretty good looking mounts, so worth working towards if you're interested in them. But don't forget, you only have a couple of days left to do this, but generally you can knock out the Traveler's Log pretty quickly within just a few hours, especially if you make use of the Profession mission and the Final Surge ones where you can double dip on dungeons, world quests and quests. You can get it done quite fast. The next thing with an extremely tight deadline is going to be the Fantastical Goblin Wave Shredder, which you only have until the 30th of July to obtain, so depending on when you're watching this video, it may be too late. It is extremely easy to get. It's from the Fanta crossover, and you can do this as both an EU or an NA player. There'll be a link to the Fanta kind of mini games in the description down below. You'll sign up for a Coca-Cola account, you'll play the mini game, and once you're done, you'll be able to select a prize. You'll want to scroll down to the World of Warcraft prize, which will be the Fantastical Goblin Wave Shredder. You'll connect your Battle.net account, and then you'll end up with it in the kind of gift section of your Battle.net account on the actual launcher. If you're unable to access the website, I would recommend trying a different browser. That tends to be what the issue is for most people attempting this. The next thing for us to talk about is going to be the Turbulent Timeways. This has 2 more sets left. So we have the current one of the Burning Crusade, and then we're going to have one final one, which will be Dragonflight. That means you only have these 2 final weeks to finish the Master of the Turbulent Timeways. If you haven't started this already, then you aren't able to do it the intended way, which is getting one of the kind of credits out of 4 each week. What you'll need to do is take advantage of the alt cheese, the second account cheese. What you'll do is create starter World of Warcraft accounts. You'll need 3 additional starters, and you'll play with a main character that doesn't have the buff yet either. And you'll kind of boost these 3 starter accounts through Timewalking dungeons. And once you finish your 4th dungeon, all 4 accounts will get credit at the same time, giving you 4 of the progression points, meaning the achievement is instantly finished. You will need to handle controlling the accounts yourself, but it isn't bannable to multi-box as long as you're controlling them manually, and they'll all be for free as well because you're using a starter account. So it is one way of getting this done if you don't have the time to do the 4 weeks that it's needed. Also, don't forget to make use of the reputation buffs you'll get for the Burning Crusade and next week for Dragonflight, and Darkmoon Faire will line up with both of these buffs as well if you do want an additional piece of reputation. These are going to be useful for grinds like the Netherwing Drakes or the Shatari Skyguard. And Zygor conveniently has a bunch of guides for these various mounts, questlines, etc. to help you get through this content easier. Just search in what it is you're after completing, and chances are it has a guide ready to go for you to follow. Follow the guide, and that'll help you get the reputations or the questlines finished, so you can make use of these reputation buffs while they're there. You can find a link to Zygor in the description down below. Additionally, you will be able to make use of the Timewalking vendors. For the PC, it will allow you to purchase the Eclipse Dragonhawk and the Armani Hunting Bear. And for Dragonflight, you'll be able to pick up the Hot Magma Slug and the Black-Furred Bakar. And don't forget also, you will be able to purchase for a limited time the previous Turbulent Timeway mounts as well for 5,000 badges. So that'll be the Chrono Courser, the Timely Busby, the Sandy Shalewing, and the 4 bronze recolors of the Shadowlands Covenant mounts. Another thing you'll want to consider doing is Décor Duels. This feature is going away in 12.1, and with it a lot of the purchasable rewards. The decor itself is still going to be available, but things like the Breaker B mount is no longer going to be available. So if you do want to get your hands on that, you will have to start grinding out Décor Duels now and get enough currency to purchase it. However, it is a good time to do this because there is currently kind of an event or whatever for bonus currency, so grinding it out will be faster than it was in the past. If you don't know how to get started with this content, head to the bank in Silvermoon. There'll be an NPC in the corner here, and they'll give you the breadcrumb quest to get started, which will lead you to a small introductory quest line that will teach you about Décor Duels before you start queuing verse players. Next up, let's jump into the seasonal related content. So there's going to be a few things here of note. First of all, in terms of M+, you're going to have your Keystone Master mount at 2k, you're going to have your Keystone Legend mount at 3k, and you're going to have the time lost saddle at 3.4k, which allows you to purchase one of the various mounts found on the vendor. But there's something very important to know about the time lost saddle, is it's currently stated it will go away at the end of the season. So if you were planning to keep hold of it for a future mount drop, don't do that because apparently it will go away. So if you have one, I would recommend spending it now before the end of the season, which should be once 12.1 launches. Additionally as well, this will be your last chance to push for the top 1%, which will get you the Umbral Ashes mount in 12.1 as well. So you have a few things to work towards in the last couple of weeks for M+. There are a couple of other things to note about the M+ season as well, is that once it ends, the current dungeon rotation will end, which means the Lucent Hawkstrider, which comes from Magister's Terrace, won't be available until either the end of the expansion, or if it's brought back in another season. And similarly with the Spectral Hawkstrider from Windrunner Spire, that won't be available unless that dungeon returns during this expansion, or at the end of the expansion when we move into the next. So if you do want those mounts, it is worth looking to grind them out now while possible. And that leads us on to a couple of other things related to the next M+ season as well, which is going to be the new M+ dungeon pool. King's Rest will become a seasonal dungeon, which means it won't be soloable the way it is now. So if you have any interest in the Tombstalker mount, this is going to be a good time to kind of do a final push for it, because once it becomes an M+ season, you're not going to be able to solo it anymore, and you're going to have to do it with a proper M+ group. Also, if you're after finishing the Glory of the War-Torn Dungeon Hero, which is kind of like the meta Glory of the Dungeon Hero for BFA, there are achievements from King's Rest that will become more difficult to do once it is in the M+ season rotation, so it might be worth knocking those out before the M+ season begins. Similar with Ruby Life Pools as well, that will be a seasonal dungeon. It doesn't have any mount drops, but it is needed for the Glory of the Dragonflight Dungeon Hero stuff, so if you do want to do those achievements, it is worth getting those done now. And then finally, Temple of Sethralis. This won't have the time sensitivity that it did with the other two dungeons, because the achievements from this dungeon are actually being completely removed. They're going to become feats of strength, and they'll no longer, or at least you would hope, they're no longer going to be needed for the Glory of the War-Torn Hero. So if you do want that mount, don't worry, you don't have to really push to do Temple of Sethralis, but it is worth doing that if you do want the feats of strength achievements. Next up, we'll be delving into delves, and there'll be a few things of note here. First of all, hitting rank 5 will allow you to purchase the Silvermoon's Arcane Defender for only 10 mal. Now this will still be, or it does seem to still be available in Season 2, but the cost is much higher. So it is worth purchasing this now if you haven't, or if you're extremely close to rank 5, it is worth knocking that out so you can purchase this mount. Additionally, the Elven Arcane Guardian for 10k undercoins. Undercoins will be reset in Season 2, so if you're close to having enough undercoins, you might as well purchase this. But what will happen in Season 2 is this will now become a purchase for 10,000 Void Mal instead. Void Mal being a little bit more accessible, so it's up to you which way you want to approach purchasing this. And then finally will be the Nemesis mount, which will be the achievement Let Me Solo Him Nullius, and if you do that, you will get yourself the Arcano Void construct, which does seem to be going away next patch. However, on the other hand, praise seem kind of not time sensitive at all. The current vendor mounts seem like they're going to be on a new vendor in Season 2, and they won't be locked behind a rank requirement anymore either. Currently, the Anguish cost is the same from Season 1 to Season 2 as well, but it might be that Blizzard changes something. If they do anything, they'll probably increase the cost, so it does cost more Anguish. But either way, if you do have the Anguish, we don't know if that's going to be reset moving into Season 2, and you have hit the ranks to be able to purchase the 2 mounts from the vendor, you might as well get that done now, but it does seem like you'll be able to purchase them in the future without too much stress. The same with the mount that comes from the Prey achievement, where you have to do every single Prey on Nightmare as well. That seems like it's remaining in Season 2, and you'll be able to work towards that still as well. For PvPers, this will be your final time to push for your mounts as well. It'll be the Vicious Snap Lizard, and for those who can hit the Gladiator reward, you'll get the Galactic Gladiator's Gordrake. So if you're close to those, make sure you knock those out before it's too late and the season ends. Now a few MISC Season 1 things I wanted to quickly touch on that you don't really need to worry about. The first is going to be Season 1 raids. You don't have to push for Ashes of Beleren, that is still going to be available into Season 2 and Season 3. At a 100% drop chance still, and it will get progressively easier the further we get into patches with more gear and power, etc. Similarly with the Glory of the Raider achievement for Season 1, that'll still remain going into this expansion and following expansions, so you're not in a rush to finish that as well. And things like ritual sites will still remain and actually be getting a bit of an upgrade moving into Season 2 as well. The gear will be upgraded to Season 2 gear, so those are going to be relevant and allow you to still work towards the mounts that come from that content. So there you go, that is your time-sensitive list over the next 2 weeks of things to work towards before we move into the next patch and the next season. Don't forget the next patch will launch on the 11th/12th of August, and a lot of the stuff like the Season 1, etc., it will be when that ends, so do make sure you're doing that within the next week or two. Outside of that, look out for more guides coming soon, and don't forget to check out Zygor if you're interested in leveling guides, gold guides, mount grinds, all that kind of stuff. There's a ton of stuff within the add-on that can help you progress within the game, so check that out in the link in the description down below. Outside of that, look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.